Welcome to UTB Blogcast number 104. It's just a little triad here again. We got me, we got Dave, and we have Roy. Say hi, boys.
Yes, we do. Hi, boys. It's usually hello, boys, but I shouldn't be
hello,
so
boys.
strict.
My bad.
Yeah.
Well, Erica should have been here now, shouldn't she?
Indeed, but she's busy doing mom stuff or something.
Stuff. So, Dave, you're in charge tonight, buddy. Where are we going first? Where are we heading first?
First of all, I'd like to apologize for, to everyone for being in charge, because you probably won't like it. Yeah. But first up, let's talk about the phone I'm going to get next. At least that's what I think. If TELUS plays ball, because my contract's up and I'm ready to rock. Anyway, what was codenamed Krypton and is officially named Motion.
Not officially.
Not officially named Motion. Or here I am in charge and I'm getting corrected already. It's kind of sad. Anyway, so that's the name that people are running with. Was Krypton, is Motion, and I'm kind of excited to see that particular phone come out. I hope Canada is an early, destination for it, because it sure as hell wasn't the case for the key one. So they better change that up, or I'll be all horrified and things. And so, talk about that phone and what we think the specs might be, and etc. So who wants to talk about that little puppy?
First off, what do you think of the name?
I like both names. I would have been happy if it stayed the Krypton. I'm happy with the name Motion. I don't have a problem with that. It harkens back in my little tiny brain to research in motion, which is fine with me. I don't have any, I don't have any bad, memories or anything like that. The name seems fine to me. I don't know why. Well, you don't like it or what?
Well, normally every time we get a name, all that you hear is people going, "Oh, that name sucks," and I haven't really heard it this time. Mm-hmm. I'm like you. I wonder if it's sort of paying homage to research in motion. It's kind of nice to see a new TLC phone with the name Motion when we're all used to research in motion. All of us old folks are anyway.
I think it's maybe not just related to research in motion. It's maybe because of the huge battery, and it will be in motion, so you can take your smartphone to your BlackBerry anywhere without need of a charge like other platforms. So
I think that's a good thought. I'm just glad, that they didn't call it lotion, because that rhymes with motion. Yeah.
Or the BlackBerry.
Or potion. Yeah, the potion or ocean or notion or something like that. So I don't know. Motion's fine with me. Sounds good. Yeah. Looking forward to it. And as Roy touched on, my biggest draw to that device is the battery. And I'll be somewhat blunt and say that I'm starting to get a little bit disappointed with my battery life on my DTEC 60, and I never expected it to be super awesome. And it's always been good. I've always classified it as good, but it's not standing the test of time at this point for me. I mean, this morning I went unplugging it at 7 a.m. and I'm going to say just before 2 o'clock, it was down to 12%. So if you can imagine that, you know, I need something better than that. So I'm looking forward to getting my mitts on it. I understand, or we think that the CPU specs are somewhat well under the DTEC 60 I use right now, and I've come to the point where I kind of don't care. I just don't care about that. You know, we've been talking about the Key One for a long time, and how well it runs and how wonderful the battery life is on that device. And I'd say whatever, 80-20 rule or more, whatever, you know, people are pretty happy with the way it performs and how the apps run on it. And this is going to be the same or better. Probably not a lot better with Snapdragon, either the same 625 or possibly the 626. But the battery is another sort of bump up, not a minor one either, in my humble opinion. And perhaps that compensates for the larger screen size. But in any case, I expect it to pretty much outshine the Key One's duration, you know, battery life-wise. So I'm really looking forward to that as a device. That to me is more important than anything else that I've sort of come to grips with, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's a full touch unit, doesn't have a keyboard on it. I love both styles. I love both formats. But as a replacement for my DTEC 60, I think that might be where I want to go.
What do you think about the design?
The design, it's a slab, and it's got a home button on it, which, you know, I mean, there's people going to give that thing grief, and I don't really care. I guess there's you know, a large-ish chin that people call it, that holds the home button. That is likely going to be integrated fingerprint sensor. Interestingly, perhaps with a logo on it, which looks pretty damn cool to me. I love the fact that I can just lay it on the table and everybody knows it's a BlackBerry now, where my DTEC 60, it could be anything. Nobody knows what my DTEC 60 is. Not a clue, especially with a case on it. I like to rock a BlackBerry, and I like people to know that. So I like that. Do I wish the fingerprint sensor was on the back? No. Do I like home buttons? No, not necessarily, no. Would it be cool if it was also a scrolling device like a trackpad? Oh yeah, but we don't know what really, you know, what's going on with that. And I don't expect it to be a trackpad at all. I don't know. It's going to be a single speaker instead of stereo, so that's not as good for me. But you know, you do Bluetooth to anything, and it doesn't matter anymore. So I don't know. To me, the form factor and the design looks just fine. My number one thing is the battery.
I think I've got our site showing up right now. Is that what you guys see too?
Yeah.
Not entirely sure. I haven't actually done this before. But I mean, the design on this thing, I'm not one for full touch phones anyway, right? You guys know I love my keyboards.
No, I know.
But looking at this thing, I really like it. And you know, I'm all about the little touches, right? Like to me, the frets are the most impressive thing on the Key One. And are you able to see my cursor here? Can you see my cursor moving around? No?
No, it usually when you curse, we hear it. We don't see it.
Well, dadgummit. But if you look at this picture, you know, if we're going to hold this picture to be true, The band that
Yeah.
we're used to seeing going all the way around the phone is there, but it doesn't go all the way around. If you look at the very top of the phone, it's rounded off. It's not like the Key 1 where it's
Yeah.
flattened off at the top and it goes all the way around. And that's just like, I think that is so cool that they took the extra time just to make a little bit of a difference there. Because
Yeah.
that this is obviously following the Key 1 format. It's got the round bottom, the square top.
Exactly what I was going to say.
That band is just a little bit different. And I've heard a lot of people talking about the bezel on the top and bottom, and the top is essentially the same as the Key 1 looking at it.
Yeah. No worries.
As far as the size, and that doesn't bother me at all.
I think it's the bottom that people are sort of pointing at. Kind of
but
like
look at the
how
bottom
necessary is that?
Look at the bottom compared to every iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Right up until the iPhone 10. It's really no different. And I love that little BlackBerry logo on it. I love it.
Yeah, me too. I do. I want to rock that. I want it. And as far as I've told myself the other day that that's not a chin, it's a chin.
Hey, Alpha.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Absolutely terrible joke. How you doing, man?
How you guys doing?
We're doing okay. We're just talking about the chin on the new Krypton / Motion.
Oh, yeah, I've been seeing a lot of comments on different sites from people making fun of the chain, saying it's big, et cetera, et cetera. Hopefully on BlackBerry Motion, just it's there. Maybe maybe some type of design used for it.
Yeah,
But
I think you're in outer Mongolia, aren't you?
Yeah, your sound is a
yeah,
little off. Just a little off there, buddy.
The audio's a little clipped out there, almost like you have a weak signal.
It might be that I have a weak signal. That might be it.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah,
I think
go ahead, Roy. I'd love to hear your take on the chin thing.
I still don't have any updates about this design. I'm still learning what I think. But what I think is the most important from this leak, or the leaks that we saw on yesterday, what's today? Another leaker, Roland Quandet, he said he said that the motion will be on Sprint, AT&T, and Verizon, and on Verizon, and this is very good news if it's real, because till now the Key 1 was on Sprint and AT&T, and Verizon is a big step forward for BlackBerry Mobile.
And you know how I take that news? I don't take it as those carriers adopting it. I take it as there's radios available for those carriers to sell it. But who says that they're going to pick it up? Not me.
My guess, Sprint and AT&T maybe will pick it up.
Yeah. So is it good news? Damn straight. If you can do CDMA and it can do, all the other, the rest of the frequencies. But I don't take what he said with anything other than a grain of salt, because it's just a radio. It'll work on there. So that's great.
And
but
he said that dual SIM will come to other markets, so probably India.
Right, why not? Yeah.
And China.
That makes sense to me. Yeah. Just like the first Black Key 1, I guess.
Maybe we will see.
Is that Optimus going to pick that up maybe for India?
I guess. Maybe they will bring a white motion as a special.
You figure?
Special edition, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get a gold one or a blue one or something. You never know. Rose gold. That's what
no.
Shut up, Dave. That should be trademarked.
I love the color scheme on this graphic. I mean, honestly, the phone just looks tough to me. It looks like one of those. It looks like a tough phone, and I mean, with it being waterproof, let it look that way. I'm so sick and tired of all these phones that have to slant in and look as thin as it can possibly be, and I don't like that. I want something to look a little more solid, and this looks solid.
Yeah. I don't care about thin anymore. Having the D-Tech 60, which is a super skinny, super slippery phone with a battery that should have been or could have been fairly decent or was decent for quite a while for me. It's not very good anymore. And you know what? I'd way rather have something a little heftier that has a kick-ass battery and lasts me all freaking day and half into next day without even thinking about it. That's what I want. The processor doesn't bother me. I look forward to the efficiency of it, and it's going to run every stinking app I ever want. And I couldn't care less if those apps are served to me 2 milliseconds later than somebody with a Snapdragon 835. I don't care.
Yeah, all devices will. You can use your banking apps on all devices. Doesn't matter if you buy a $1,000 phone that have the best specs, or you have a better phone like BlackBerry.
I saw you talking about that earlier in the week, and I completely agree. It's just really, who cares? You get a battery sucking flagship processor with 8 gigs of RAM, and something small in your hand has to run that thing all day. Well, battery technology hasn't kept up with processing power, kids. That's never changed. Same thing in laptops, same thing, everything battery powered. So there's a balance that you have to make, and I think that TCL and BlackBerry are choosing a good and interesting path, especially for enterprise. When you're offering a piece of equipment to enterprise, it needs to be solid for a whole working day. And the key one and the upcoming Motion looked to fit that bill absolutely brilliantly. It's relatively inexpensive. Who the hell needs to pay $1,000 for that thing? What enterprise wants to do that? Hell, I don't want to do that. And it's going to last you all freaking day, and it's going to run every app you can throw at it. It's what's wrong with that? Nothing.
I think the only people that would really notice much of a difference would be gamers. And I mean, I don't know how many hardcore gamers there are that play mobile primarily, right? And I mean, I've put a few games on my Key One just really to try it out. I find that I'm not really playing games on my phone that much anymore, but with the screen being a slightly different size and having the keyboard there, I put a couple on just to see what it was like, and I didn't experience any sort of slowdown. Now, we have a few comments. Actually, we have quite a few comments in the in our chat. And I wanted to touch on a couple of them. We've got Romeo in there, and he said that he was experiencing lag in his Key One, and then I guess he got it replaced, and his screen fell out. So I mean, I know I have one. Roy has one. Alpha, did you ever get one?
No, I don't have one yet, but I am working on grabbing one for sure. Probably.
I know Dave doesn't. Now, I mean, I'll be honest. The screen fell out of my first one, and we know that was a construction flaw, a manufacturing flaw that BlackBerry is handled. And I mean, they were really quick. I got a new phone within a week. Everything was good to go. My new one, absolutely no problems. But I have yet to experience any lag on my phone. And I mean, realistically, I experienced a lot of lag on my Priv. And it was easily resolved just doing a reset. But I can't remember the last time I reset my key one. Roy, are you experiencing lag?
Never reset the key one, and it works fine. Even with multiple apps running at the same time.
What about, I've heard rumors that clearing your cache is something that you can do that can assist in that vein. Also turning on developer options and what is it? Not the screen refresh, but there's an animation timer that you can dumb down to like half a second or something like that, and that helps. But if there's that kind of lag, it's possible that you have an app on your phone that is not helping you out very much. And you might want to go look at your data stats, your Wi-Fi stats, and see what app is using your, you know, talking to home a lot, even though you're not using it very much or whatever, and kill it or get rid of it, or find an alternative, something like that.
Yeah, there's got to be something going on, because I mean, I've got two of them right here, and I mean, no lag whatsoever. And I know Romeo's saying in the chat right now the 625 will lag when you have multiple apps open. And I mean, there's so many times in the day when I'm flipping through, you know, you hit the little square to get back to whatever app you're in, and well, right now I'm looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 apps open right now. And I mean, I have zero lag, zero. So, I mean, I'd love to know what the difference is between the phone Romeo had and either of mine.
And yours, just to be clear, you
actually, Romeo, did you have Facebook on your phone?
Oh,
I'll let you answer whenever.
Horrible. And just to be clear, yours are both 3 meg memory units, right?
Yes, and one of them is a carrier phone. One of them is AT&T branded. It's their Space Edition. That's the one BlackBerry Mobile sent me, and then the other one is the unlocked, the original, which the original is the one that I had replaced because I had a very early manufactured phone. Yeah. Romeo did have Facebook on his phone. Now, I mean, I don't care what platform you're on. If you're on iOS or you're on Android, the Facebook app is the biggest resource hog, battery hog, everything on your phone. It's constantly running and it's constantly draining your power and constantly using up your resources. I would have loved to have seen, I mean, I know Romeo sent back his phone, but I would like to have seen someone that's experiencing lag on their phone take the Facebook app off and see what happens. And Romeo, yes, because he asked, "You think Facebook is that much of a memory ECU hog?" Yes, it is. Just Google it, and I mean, you don't have to. It is. You don't have. It is. You don't have to look at UTB for that. It is known throughout the land on both platforms that it is the worst app out there.
That and Snapchat, they're both pigs.
Well, you know, I can attest to that because I removed Facebook from my Priv, and it has performed much better without Facebook on it, and battery even lasted longer without Facebook being on it. So yeah, Facebook is a real resource hog. It really is.
And I don't understand it. It doesn't need to be that way. It's they either have poor coders, or the coders have been instructed to do more than they ought to be doing, you know, from a, you know, touching your location and whatever else you're doing on your phone. I mean, everybody knows, or maybe not everybody knows, but the Facebook app does have the ability to access the microphone in your phone. And why the hell is that? Even when it's
you want
idle.
to put on your tinfoil hat again. No, don't actually do it, Dave. But I totally, personally, don't do it, Dave. Personally, I think that is the reason why Facebook is such a data hog, because we know what Facebook's doing. You know, we know the nature of their business is constantly collecting information, constantly. I mean, anybody that's got DTech on their phone in the Facebook app should be completely shocked within 3 days of looking at what it does on DTech. Like I refuse to.
I'm going to go farther than shocked and call it horrified. It's horrifying. It's unnecessary. It's invasive. It's the shits. Apart from that, it's awesome.
See, we got Hilton Dynamics saying, let's talk about memory on Key One and performance. I got 345 megabytes free. Is that bad? Where the heck
is it bad?
Where the heck do I go in there?
No.
Data usage.
He only has
Facebook on my phone.
Megabytes free.
Say what, Roy?
The Facebook on my phone, on my DTech app, and you see that the do nothing because I disabled it.
Right.
I'm doing anything.
Yeah. I don't even have it on my phone at all. If I need or want to do something on Facebook, I'll use the website. I just don't care.
I'm managing my Berry IL page from it.
Right. Yeah, so you have a use case for that. I don't. I just couldn't care less.
Yeah, we don't manage our UTB Blogs Facebook page. Whatever's going on over there,
apparent.
We have no idea. I can't even tell you if it's still auto posting. I don't know.
But rest assured, yeah, it's a disgusting pig. And so the question was, what about, you know, memory management with a 3 gig?
He's got
with a 3 gig machine.
I'm assuming a 3 gig machine. He's got 345 megabytes free now on my primary, which is the one that has all those apps open right now. I've got 29 megabytes free, and with 29 megabytes free, I'm experiencing no lag. My other phone, which is really just, you know, it's my secondary phone. I've got 608 megabytes free right now, and looks like no apps open on that. So say what you will.
Yeah, my DTech 60 has 638 megs free, and this is a 4 gig machine. No, yeah, it's a 4 gig machine, right? My average is in and around 3 gigs of usage.
Check it.
I'm going settings, memory, and see, like Brother Nils saying you need 350 free to function well, and I'm just saying that, I mean, as a heavy user who leaves a lot of apps open and uses a lot of, and I mean, they're not gaming apps. I'm not playing games. I'm not, the only social media I'm really using is BBM and Twitter. But, you know, I am managing the site, and I got all my graphic stuff. I've got like 2 photo apps open right now, photo editing apps. And
400.
I'm just saying, I don't agree with Nils' statement there, because I don't have anywhere close to 350, and I have 0 lag, no problems going on.
Now, how much of your internal storage is in use? How much have you got on your internal storage? And the reason I'm going to ask this, yeah, you've got what, 32 storage or 64, and how much of that?
32. The internal storage, I'm using 17.64 gigabytes of 32.
So you're half full. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because in a Windows world, the amount of RAM you have is important, of course. And when you consume all of the RAM that you have available, then you start page swapping on your hard drive or your SSD or whatever you have as your core storage facility. And I'm wondering if Android does the same kind of thing. I should go figure that out. Because if the same thing was true and you had 32 gig of storage and you had 30 of that in use, then your page swapping would be pathetic and your device would be slow. That's what happens in Windows. So I'd be very curious to find out how that memory allocation works when you're full. If all it does is dumb down some of the apps that you are running in RAM, that's one thing. But if it starts abusing your storage space like Windows does or did, I don't know what Windows 10 does, I've forgotten, then that's another thing. And would if it is that way, then that would certainly contribute to lag, because it sure as hell does in Windows.
Do some research on that, Dave. And blog it.
I will
blog it, man.
No, I will. I will. I never thought about it until right now, so I want to go find out.
And I've got a.
But how did we get here?
I won't, because I'm responding to comments. Somebody else was asking, and I'm sorry, I didn't want to scroll all the way back up, but they were asking about all the buttons on the left-hand side of the phone. And it is all the buttons on the left-hand side of the phone. We actually saw that previously with the case that suddenly appeared for sale. You've got the volume rocker, the power button, and the convenience key all on one side of the phone. So that was
that's interesting. And when you have it in your right hand, it's all thumb access, right?
Right hand, yeah. Which I never carry my phone in my right hand. My phone's always in my left hand. And I'm right-handed.
Well, I'm not sure you need to apologize for that.
Always on my left.
What's that, Roy?
I'm left-handed, and my phone is always on my left hand.
We should do a poll.
Yeah.
Could you see all the
passport
passport users? I use both hands.
One that's leaning right.
Anything else on motion?
Nothing except for me to beg that TELUS picks it up.
When do you think BlackBerry Mobile will announce it? And will
I think they're going to announce it this month, and I think it'll be available late November.
Sounds good. If they could if they can get it out there by Black Friday, that would be great.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think it'll be available sometime in November. Me personally, on the handset, I like the design. Looks like a key one without the physical keyboard. Loving the battery paired with the processor. I agree with what Dave was saying. I could care less about having the latest and greatest horsepower. My main concern on a smartphone is battery life. And I mean, what's the use of all that horsepower if your phone doesn't get you through the day? So I'd much rather prefer a more battery-friendly processor than one that's going to consume too much power. Absolutely, 100%. And I think that as far as the carriers picking as far as the rumors of the carriers picking it up, which carriers are picking it up, should that hold true? I think it's because of one is doing, and carriers see, there's a BlackBerry handset out there, the latest one, and it's really moving, and they want to get in on the action also.
Yeah, well, I can hardly wait. I want to go get one. I'll buy it, definitely. If TELUS is supplying it, I'm on it.
Well, and I know it's been touched on a little bit here and a lot in comments and forums and whatnot. what do you think it would take to get that fingerprint sensor to act as a touchpad? Do you think that's realistic?
Nothing.
And hoping?
No, I think it's completely and utterly possible because the Key 1 has capacitive keys on it, and they're available for scrolling and whatnot. And so there's no reason that you can't do the exact same damn thing to that button at all. There's no reason for it. They've been doing it on the Passport. They did it on the Key 1. It's not ridiculous. It's a known and well-working thing. It's not new technology. It's not bizarre. It works on Android. And so it's completely and utterly possible, and I'd love it if the Motion had that. Love it.
You know, Huawei, their handsets have the fingerprint sensor on the back, and those have swipe gesture capabilities also. You use it to swipe. You swipe a certain way, and it drops it toggles this, it toggles that. You can use it for swipe gestures like you're suggesting. So I think it's very possible and very real that the Motion could possibly have something like that going on. It would be great.
Getting the touchpad back on a BlackBerry would be so worth it for me. Just that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love it if the chin on the Motion, if the whole thing actually functioned as some type of touchpad. That would be really good.
Yeah, that's a cool thought. Gives credence to its size, as it were.
That actually would. And I mean, you look at the Key 1 and how handy it is to be able to scroll and whatnot with the keyboard. Mm-hmm. That would be pretty friggin' incredible if you could do that with that bottom bezel.
I love it. I love it on the Passport when you turn it sideways and you can use the keyboard to scroll up and down on a web page or something like that.
Hey Dave, guess what?
Brilliant.
That works on the Key 1 too.
I know it does. I don't have one. You have 2 of them. I have 0 of them. So I was hearkening back to what I do have.
You should do a contest, Brad, and give away one of your Key 1s to whoever.
Hey, I mean, I'll be completely honest. I don't know.
Give it away now.
One that can be kept. I mean, this is a review unit. I like every morning I wake up afraid there's going to be an email saying send it back, but
I'll write the email.
We shall see. Okay, Dave, do your job, Missy.
I'll kill you later. Next up, we have a subject that I don't want to bring up, but we're doing it anyway, and that is on BB10. We have lost the ability to have native access, and by that I mean through the file manager or the native Dropbox app, access to Dropbox itself. So I'm extremely sad to see that go. I'm also disheartened because I don't think it's something that really needs a whole hell of a lot of upkeep. I think it's kind of a stupid decision, but somebody made it, and what do you think that means to the general public? I've seen some users not care. I've seen some users go, oh yeah, it doesn't work anymore. In other words, don't care. I've seen some users be horrified, and some users that just shrug their shoulders and go, well, that's the way it is, you know. So, but there's alternatives too. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I think most people would be horrified by the notion of it. I do bet you that it has something to do with some sort of update. 99.9% sure on
it's an API update.
Yeah, and they just haven't. Okay, then. Well, that works. But you know, Dropbox and Box and OneDrive are things that I used extensively on BB10, and that's something that I would have been very upset about and known about immediately. But what I've noticed is all of our BB10 friends that I've been asking, hey, can you test this to see if it still works? None of them use it. None of them. I mean, I think the only one I had almost luck with today was Bigley, who said that he used to use it and he would try and log in, but he couldn't remember his password.
Yeah, I gotta say, I never once used Dropbox, any of that on my passport. Like never.
I was a heavy user.
Yeah, me too. I use the heck
I think
out
I
of it.
used OneDrive. I think I used OneDrive once, and that was it. But other than that, I've never used any of that stuff on my passport. But nonetheless, I do think it's a shame that that functionality is now gone. I think it really sucks.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, Alpha. You know, you're bringing up a point there, and just because we don't, or a group of us don't necessarily use it or whatever, we're not the general population use case. And Dropbox is outrageously popular. They were one of the very first people to make widely available cloud services for multi-platform devices, be it a computer or tablet or mobile, whatever. And because of that, it's almost become a name like Band-Aid. You know, people talk about cloud. Lots of people just use the word Dropbox, and even if they're not actually using that service.
I'm using Dropbox on daily basis.
Me too.
Especially on my BlackBerry 10 device. I use through the file manager. And now on my Q1, if I were a BlackBerry 10 user now, I was probably very angry that I can't use. But there are alternatives, like you said. A lot of BlackBerry 10 apps that made by great BB10 developers that can bring you the same experience like the native app. I hope they updated their apps on BB10 because, like I said before, it's an API update, and if they don't update their apps, it will not work also. But
I don't know. I use Dropbox all the time. I use it at work. I use it personally. I use Box to a lesser degree and OneDrive to a lesser degree, but I use all three. And Dropbox gets the most heavy use because I find it easiest to copy a public URL and link and send it to people so they can download stuff for work and whatnot, or anybody that wants to watch a video.
I use it to transfer files from my phone to my computer.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's very easy.
Yeah. So I find it a disappointment. It's a signal to people, an unfortunate signal. There are alternatives though. You can even run some Android file managing apps that'll handle your Dropbox needs on your BB10 device. So I'd encourage people to go there. But it kind of makes me think that a couple of the other cloud providers will follow suit. I don't know, maybe not.
Well, things get updated, and I mean, really, people. That's the hard part is we need to realize that BlackBerry 10 is no longer a consumer product, and as far as support goes for BlackBerry 10, it is support for those enterprise customers that have ongoing business with BlackBerry. And if one of those enterprise customers was using Dropbox and suddenly they're unable to do it, well, then we will probably see an update to Dropbox. If it's, the remaining BB10 consumer users that were using Dropbox and Dropbox updated it as API, we're not going to see an update. You know what I mean? It's I get really frustrated along those same lines as every time you see, which we can talk about this too, every time you see a BBM update, BBM, if you go to Twitter and you look at BBM and every update they do, and they're out there advertising how great it is, they're hammered by BB10 users saying, what about BB10? Why not? Well, it's like, you know what? They're not doing BB10. BBM is not doing anything for BB10. It's a different company, and they're doing it for the cross-platform BBM, which is Android and iOS.
Yeah,
and
well,
as far as
not doing anything for BB10.
Right, and
BlackBerry is not doing an awful lot for BBM.
There you
either.
go. BlackBerry is not doing anything for consumer BBM either.
Right. But they have the things that they want to be able to provide for enterprise. That's what their focus is. It's been their focus for, get over it, a couple 3 years now, kind of thing, or whatever it is. And so people are still trying to cling on to the fact that, it's a consumer thing. Well, it's not. And stop saying that. It's like calling BlackBerry a phone manufacturer. They're not. So get over it. BlackBerry's BBM is an enterprise play at this point. It's not a consumer play. Get over it. And they don't make phones. Get over it. So these things happen in other circles. MTech bought the consumer BBM, and it has seen a large number of feature additions and updates. And that's where those things are. They're on the Android and the iOS platforms. They're not on BB10.
I saw a tweet saying that while BlackBerry made phones, they lost money, and the tweet said, "Get out of hardware." And now, when BlackBerry make money, Street said, "Show us hardware revenue." And that's the problem.
It's just like, who do you want to? Come on, people. I mean, really, make up your mind. It's just hilarious, really. Make up your mind.
Yeah, BlackBerry 10. It's sad to see. It's really sad.
Well, it is, because I love it. I just love it, and I, one of those things that it was a stalwart go-to thing on my passport. I said 30 and said 10 and whatever other phones I had. I was not going to be able to do anymore, which, for lack of a better term, kind of pisses me off.
And we still have great developers like Nemory that make on Instagram and Facebook and Messenger apps for BlackBerry 10 users, and still update these apps. So it's definitely someone that still care and develop for the platform.
Yeah. So I don't know if we've beaten that dead horse enough, for lack of a better term.
Let's drop it to the box.
Yeah.
And continue.
Right. All I got to say is there's ways around it. And so it's not a huge deal. It's just an indicator to me. So yeah, next subject. What the heck is up with BlackBerry moving their stock offerings from Nasdaq to the New York Stock Exchange, NYSE? What the hell's up with that? That to me, I never even would have considered it. I never even thought about it. I didn't really know all that much about why you would do such a thing. So I don't know.
Do such a thing.
What's that?
I didn't know that you can do such a thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I thought everyone.
That's right.
is
I
on
never even thought
Nasdaq.
about that. What the heck? And that's how much I know about stocks and trading and crap. But you know, apparently there's quite a bit of a difference between the two exchanges.
I can tell what is the essential difference between New York Stock Exchange and Nasdaq. I quote it. The difference is the trading principles.
Yeah.
Nasdaq is an auction market, and New York Stock Exchange is when the buyers and sellers trade physically by comparing bids, prices, and ask prices. This is the essential.
Isn't NYSE the auction market and Nasdaq is a dealer market?
No, it says in NYSE that buyers and sellers trade physically by comparing bid price and ask price.
Right. One
of the things that I heard is that we can pretty much say goodbye to the shorts. Now, I heard that from somebody in a group. I don't know if that's true.
I'm glad you brought that up, because as far as I'm concerned, that is probably the most kick-ass reason to get the hell out of Dodge. Dodge being Nasdaq.
Well, if that's true, and I don't know, I'm not a stock guy. I mean, if that's the case, why didn't we do this 3 years ago?
I don't know. Well, because they didn't have the comfort, the money, and the platform, because 3 years ago they weren't what they are today. So 3 years ago, it was kind of questionable, right? And today, whether you like it or not, being a short or whatever, it is a way more viable stock, a way more viable company, shed themselves of the hardware that was draining them, totally into the software, which is starting to make money, not hand over fist, not yet. But that's the way it's heading, and the share price shows that. And the perception of Nasdaq, you know, and it didn't surprise me for BlackBerry or RIM a long time ago. They were the exchange for like more higher tech stocks, with you know, more growth potential kind of thing. But the fact is, it's just more volatile. And by volatile, I totally take that to mean short selling. People who can manipulate what's going on in that stock exchange. So getting the hell out of that Dodge, to me, is a great thing. And the people's perception of the New York Stock Exchange is that it's for more well-established companies, and it's for way more stable stock offerings. So that's where you want to be, right?
Yeah.
NYSE, it's like 300 years old or something. It started in 1792.
And it's the entry fee is $500,000 to enter
that's
the
right.
New York Stock Exchange, while it's only $50,000 to enter Nasdaq. I can give you more.
NASDAQ. Yeah. So Nasdaq is, of course, not a penny stock thing, but it's not the same thing like Roy just said. It's just not. The New York Stock Exchange is way more for Fortune 500-y things, and the Nasdaq is more for like startups and things with, you know, possible growth potential, like maybe when Facebook was young or whatever. So I don't know. I'm from the, and I'm ignorant as far as this stuff goes, as far as stocks go. But if I take what I've learned when they announced that from then till today, I see that moving to the New York Stock Exchange is way better. You're even looked at from a better perspective. People look at it and go, ah, yeah, you're over here. I like you better. It's just the place to be if you're serious.
The NASDAQ have 3,800 listing on their stock exchange worth only $11 trillion, while New York have 2,400 worth more than $21 trillion. So New York Stock Exchange is worth much higher than Nasdaq.
Yeah, that's right. So, you know, from a newbie's point of view, I can totally see why you'd want to go from Nasdaq, where you're just getting beat up every day by goofs at Seeking Alpha and other places trying to beat you down. I can totally see why you'd want to get the hell out of that Dodge and move into the New York Stock Exchange, where it's just a better club. You know what I mean? Like, you can be a member of that golf club and it's okay and everything, but it's, you know, or you can be a member of this golf club and wow, it's way better, whatever, you know, however you want to look at it. It's just a better place to be listed. Makes sense. I like it. Anybody else got anything on that?
No, I think we touched on the specific part that I was thinking of, which was those shorts and the manipulation. I'll be glad to see that gone.
Oh my God. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, okay, let's see. When is that happening? It's not this coming Monday, which is Canadian Thanksgiving. Thank you very much. It is the following Monday, the 16th.
Yeah.
So that'll be their opening day. And I don't know who's going to show up to ring the bell, but apparently they get to open on the New York Stock Exchange by ringing the bell. It's kind of a tradition there.
And the symbol,
Roy, do you know who's going to do that?
No, probably Chan. He like it.
You think?
Yeah.
I think he's going to send somebody.
And the symbol will change to BB, like
That's right.
The Toronto Stock Exchange.
Yeah, that's right.
I think the most important question is this change will change our way to search the BlackBerry. Stock.
Yeah, I do every morning.
On apps.
At some point in the morning, I'm on a web browser and I'm typing BBRY and I'm going and looking at what it is today. And I've been a hell of a lot happier this last few weeks than I have in the past, seeing the results. But yeah, we'll just be typing BB instead of BBRY to go look for it.
Stock is doing great on the last week.
Yeah, it is. I think it was last week I brought up somebody, I don't remember where the article was written. It was probably Seeking Alpha. And the guy was saying that, you know, well, the new, I'm going to get back into this stock when it's at 10. And I kind of said, well, you think that's the floor now? I don't know. And he was not impressed with my comment, but whatever. I won't go over that again. Yeah, stock. What can I say? Anyway, we beat the crap out of that. QNX, however you want to say it. QNX. I like saying QNX more than QNX because it's less syllables or something. Anyway, Yanfeng Vistion.
Wait, hold
Come on,
on,
Dave.
Hold on. I was sitting here searching the whole time, right? Just for a little bit of humor, because the Evan Blass, the leaker that leaked the motion, and when we started talking about the shorts, it got me thinking. Somebody replied to his leak, and I went looking at the guy's profile, and this is one of those. According to his profile, he's one of these guys that's out there shorting the stocks, right? He's like, he keeps tweeting, oh, we'll be shorting this, we'll be shorting that. And he had said that he'd be shorting one of his earlier tweets. And I have no idea who this guy is. He's really But his response to Blast's tweet was, "This is fake. Photo does not have micro USB. Instead, PIC uses an iPhone charger. Furthermore, BlackBerry has already stated they've abandoned phones." And this is somebody that supposedly,
What?
yeah. Blast responded to him. That's why I thought it was friggin' hilarious, because that's the only reason I even saw it. But it's like, okay, so the guy's never heard of a USB Type-C, and he thinks that's an iPhone charger. And I guess he's never heard of TCL or BlackBerry Mobile or the Key One. And he's one of these guys that was tweeting to his 85 followers that they would be shorting the BlackBerry stock.
Yeah,
just a short time ago. So I thought just for a little bit of humor.
He had 85 followers. I think he's short on followers.
Yeah. Not only that, but there's a reason they called it Twitter, because part of that word is twit.
Okay, back to you, Dave. I'm sorry. There's something funny, and I spent so much time looking for it.
You had to get it out there.
I had to.
All right. QNX getting picked up by Yanfeng Vistion. I got that out. Yanfeng Vistion. I hadn't ever heard of those guys before.
There was a lot of Chinese. It's very angry.
Before Monday. Yeah. Anyway, these guys are picking up QNX so that they can provide instrument cluster support for OEMs. And we're all, well, not we're all. I'm assuming that those OEMs are going to be Chinese auto manufacturers. That's just me. And there's an awful lot of Chinese auto manufacturers, way more than I ever thought there would be. And you know, there's like the top 10. I didn't even know there was more than 2. You know, like the top 10 are Beijing Auto, BYD, Yangzhou Auto, SAIC, Dongfeng Motor, First Automobile Motor, goes on and on. Brilliance, China Auto, all these guys. Anyway, I don't know who Vistion is going to cater to, but there's a veritable cornucopia of Chinese auto manufacturers that could use this instrument cluster technology that they're going to be able to offer. So I find that quite exciting from a, I guess, QNX / BlackBerry monetary point of view. I'm not so sure that we'll see the fruits of those labors here in North America or in Europe. I'm not sure, but I do also know that there are standard brands that we would all recognize that have joint ventures with these Chinese OEMs. So like BMW, they work with Brilliance in some capacity. Toyota, they work with GAC. You know, the list goes on. Suzuki, Ford, Fiat, Kia, you name it. Lots of them do joint ventures with these Chinese OEMs. So I don't know. We're going to see it coming through the back door. Is it going to be only on Chinese cars?
It will be China really focused, maybe. But I learned something that
what did
every
you
time
learn?
You make a deal with a Chinese supplier or Chinese anything, you will make money from it. China, I think it's the biggest market or the second biggest market in the world, and more than 2 billion Chinese, and they are buying anything. So I think it's a good deal for QNX. Yeah, Brad.
Well, because I was going to say, there are a lot of parts in your car, no matter what country you're in, that come from China. And looking at the press release, where did I lose it? I've already lost it. The saying that I'm not going to say the name is a global tier 1 automotive supplier.
You're not going to say the name because you don't want to, or because you cannot?
The second choice you just gave.
Come on,
now. Definitely
try.
The second. Definitely the second one.
Okay.
So Yanfeng Vistion is a global tier 1 automotive supplier, and here's the thing: it's they're using and I'm reading this QNX platform instrument clusters 1.0 software for digital instrument cluster project with a major Chinese OEM. Now, there's only one company that's certified to have instrument cluster, and that is QNX. So that's why you get a lot of these really fancy cars that you're spending a lot of money on that have like the really nice little, digital thing in the middle of your dashboard that shows everything about your car, your gas, your tires, blah, blah, blah. But your speed and your RPMs and that are still pointers on a dial, right? There's a reason for that, because the makers of those are not certified to use a digital display. So when you see these fancy cars where if we look back at like a lot of those QNX demonstrations where the entire dash was an LCD panel where everything can move around, it's really only QNX that can do that on a street legal car here in the US. So hopefully this company is actually supplying things to these manufacturers, and we'll start seeing more of that here in the US.
Yeah.
How much
That's what I want.
BlackBerry can make from each part that they supply to Chinese company?
$10.
Well,
I have no idea.
It was during the earnings call, or in an interview after that, Chen was saying, he's moving from $2 or $3 or $4 per car to $20 and up, depending on the modules that you buy that QNX can offer. And so here's one of the things that QNX can offer. And it'll be one of those things that gets you further down to further up, to the $20 mark or whatever it is. So it's nothing but good news. And the more markets and opportunities and customers that QNX can get themselves into, just means more money per car. It's just nothing but a good news story, as far as I'm concerned, which doesn't matter much because I'm just me. Or something.
Dave.
What?
Did you shave the middle of your chin?
Did I shave the middle of my chin? No, we were talking about the Motion, which has a chin, that I've renamed Chen. And did I shave the middle of my chin? I don't know. Why, you don't like it, or
just checking? Looks like you got there's nothing here, and you got stuff here, but nothing here.
Okay. Yeah.
Am I right?
Well, that's just sort of the way it worked out. I don't know. That's been going on for a long time.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah. Or something.
We can't all be Roy, who decides, at 7 in the morning he's going to grow a beard, and then 5 p.m. he's got one.
Yeah. He's Roy's a man's man.
Yeah, I will shave it because next week I'm on Warsaw, and I'm afraid that they will not let me in with this beard to Poland.
Yeah, that reminds me of a George Carlin poem. See my beard, ain't it weird? Don't be scared. It's just a beard. That's George Carlin. He rocks, or rocked.
Next topic, please.
That's it from this Guys, somebody needs to come up with something else if they want, or we can go dig around in the questions and answers.
I think we kept up on the comments.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Here's one. I think it's exactly what you just said, Dave. What QNX has to do... No. What QNX has to do which modules a manufacturer chooses. Chin said it's now about 1.5 for infotainment. Should become between 1.5 and 20. So yeah, that's what you were just talking about.
Yep. It's a great plan. I mean, all of the ribbing and shorting and ridiculousness, and I hate to pick on you, Seeking Alpha, but you deserve it. You know, all of that crap that we've been listening to for years goes away. It goes away because of the move to the New York Stock Exchange. It goes away because of the penetration QNX is getting into the market. It goes away. So and it's all an upside story.
The stock price is moving with BlackBerry, or is it starting from the beginning?
You know what? That's a really good question. I would expect, let's just say it's at $11.05 or something right now. Then I would expect it. I'd expect it to open at 11:05 on that Monday morning if it was this coming Monday, but it's not. So I don't know what's going to happen in between now and then. They'll probably freeze it before they move it, and I don't know how long they'll freeze it for. Maybe just the day on Friday so they can open it up on Monday. I really don't know. Freeze is the wrong word. It's probably holding or not sure. But that's all I've got for subjects today.
Alpha, what you got, Mr. Silent?
I guess that's it.
The roundup.
I have a question. Anybody know how many Key1 were sold by TCL? We know TCL is a public company. They need to report it, but nobody knows.
I know for sure that the number is more than 5 because there's 5 just in our group.
Yeah.
Do they really need to report it, though? I mean, they're going to report device sales, right? Do they really need to break it down by category?
I don't know.
BlackBerry won't. They won't care. They might one day say how many licenses they've sold.
But even that will be split.
But they won't care about handset numbers.
If you will look on BlackBerry report, you will see that they have a column that said mobility solutions or something, that it's basically the software revenue from sold devices. It's also the Aurora, I think, also.
Yeah, because remember, mobility solutions was something they came up with a few quarters ago, which kind of enveloped devices, but it also envelops all of their IP licensing outside of phones. So, I mean, it was kind of a way for them to sell, I think, when they weren't looking so great near the end of them selling devices.
Yeah, it was shrewd.
But even now, it was genius.
Yeah. And I think we should say something about AOL. I know it's not BlackBerry related, but it's
maybe
the history of
it's like EOL,
messengers.
Not AOL. It's EOL. AOL is EOL.
Well, AOL is now part of Oath, and AIM is now bye-bye next month, or 2 months, December, right? December 18th. Dave had to leave because he got a very important AOL IM message he has to respond to.
I used it as a kid. I used the messenger from AOL.
You do?
Yeah, I used it. You don't?
No. No, I really, I mean, messengers were never really a big thing in my life on the computer. I think looking back, I think I had an AIM login at one point in time, as well as a Yahoo Messenger. But I never really used those things. I never did. I really, BBM is like the first messenger that I really used.
I used the AOL messaging and ICQ.
Oh, I did use ICQ. You're right. I did. I remember that. Had a little flower.
Yeah.
I used AIM.
What? Sorry about that. Had a phone call. What's ICQ? Is that like a very cold letter of the alphabet? That's a joke.
Instant messenger.
Yeah.
But
I'm kidding.
I was on AIM like crazy when I was younger. AIM was a really big thing for me. Very long time ago. I'm not going to say how long. I don't want to say my age, but it's a very big thing for me a very long time ago.
Because you'd be dating yourself, which is illegal in some places.
In all places.
Mm-hmm.
You think Verizon is kind of regretting Yahoo?
Every day.
I would have been if I was on that board of directors, I would have been screaming and kicking like a little kid. Don't do it.
Fire the man who thought that buying Yahoo is a good idea.
It's like the story just gets worse every day. You know, one major hack, two major hacks. Oh, guess what? Everyone was hacked. You know? And it's like, let's hide this shit as fast as we can. Let's call it a new name. Here is our oath that you won't be hacked this week. That's our oath.
Oh, man. Yahoo's so loose, they should have called it Yahooer.
Oh, geez, Dave.
Sorry, I just thought that up, and it was not necessarily for public consumption, but that's how my brain works.
Earned our explicit rating tonight. It's always Dave.
Well, come on. It's not like the word is banned.
I think twice it was Wayno. Every other time it's been Dave.
Yeah, well, there's something to be said for consistency. Can I tell you? I'm going to be proud of it. I'll wear that. That's me.
Hey, who here, actually, we had this conversation earlier today, but Dave and Alpha weren't there because, you know, it seems like me and Roy are the last two around. But anyway, who uses BBM status messages?
I think I did it twice to try it out, and I've never used it since, and that was years ago. I just, whatever, don't bother. Maybe I should.
I used to use it a lot.
Do you?
But now, not so much.
Status messages used to be, and I know Roy does use them, and I haven't been using them, just to give you guys answers because you guys were not reading the group earlier, and you know, watchers weren't there either. But
I haven't been reading almost nothing for almost the whole week. I've been antisocial.
He's just been looking at pictures. But the he only reads the magazine for the pictures. Bye, Hef. It was great to have you around for my entire lifetime. Anyway, the used to the status messages were just kind of like there for your friends, you know, hey, I'm out tonight, I'm not going to be around. That's kind of how I treated it, right? It's like I'm unavailable, I'm available. I never really put much of a personalization on it. But now your status messages, and they have been for a while, are part of your feed, which I know a lot of people really use that feed. And I really haven't been using that feed. I need to teach myself to do it. But at the same time, those status messages are really part of what makes BBM a social network now, more so than just a messenger. right? I mean,
That's a fair comment. I used to use feed all the time, and I weaned myself off of it when I started looking at the feed and it was slow to react, and so I just skipped past it, and I haven't gone back to it since. Interesting.
I think Amtech need to maybe think how to make the feeds and status more efficient to use, because now it's just a status. You can add a picture or something, but no more.
Yeah, you can add a picture. You can do a status. All of your channels are there. I mean, what else? What else do you want there, Roy?
Maybe link, a better link implementation.
What?
To copy links into the feeds more easily. That you will see the link picture or something like in other status, like Twitter. Maybe more easier to reply on status.
Yeah. Like I could see that. Like if you could reply to a status and have it be visible to all instead of just a direct message to.
Yeah.
Watch, I'm going to do that right now.
You have a choice between private chat reply and everyone can.
That would be huge. Yeah, because right now I just looked at your status, which is UTB Blogcast is now live. I got to make sure I watch that next week. I keep missing it. And click on it, and it goes straight into our private chat.
Yeah, I think we should send BBM MTech a few ideas.
Alpha Geek.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that idea.
I say we make it. I say we make it our oath. Hey, Verizon, to try using our status messages this week. See what we can get going on here.
I think we need another pool to ask our readers if they use the feeds.
Ask them what? Oh, if they use their feeds?
Yeah.
We can do that.
Another poll.
Yeah. It's just another more posts.
And you know, on cross-platform BBM now, you can like feeds, which is something that I thought was a huge. I mean, you can like status and all that stuff. There, I just liked Alpha's new picture. Don't take that personally, Alpha. It's totally a platonic like.
I think he likes your like.
It's a nice suit, buddy.
Just saying.
Get a room.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's actually for the new security company I work for. They suits like that because this.
You dress like that for a security company?
Yeah.
It's like the gaudy security company, or?
No, I'm actually working inside of Cartier.
Oh wow.
Doing corporate security there. Yeah. Inside their New York flagship store.
I can see they also have the fancy napkins in that bathroom. So.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Okay then. La-dee-da. Or something.
Okay, so that's our oath. Let's use status messages this week. Dave, I'm waiting on yours.
Are you now, Billy Bob?
It's not there. That's the response we get out of Dave. Okay.
I think his status
Are we good, boys? Dave's status messages all week will just be a series of grunts and moans.
There you go. Just for you.
It's
If
not
you
my
don't
feed.
like it,
Dave must have unfriended
you know
me.
what to do. Yeah, could be. Well, I don't know. If you look at me in your contacts, what does it say?
That's not what I'm concerned about, Dave. I'm concerned about my feed.
Yeah, I'm hungry too, but that's not what we're talking about. I thought we were talking about status messages. You know what I'm saying?
God, this has got to be.
You can tag
Really?
someone, right? No, you can't.
Can you?
No.
Can you do that? I don't see how you can do that.
No, you can't.
Well, why do you get us all excited for nothing?
I said that you can't. I tried. I failed.
Why can't I find my contacts? Because it's at the bottom now. That's why.
There. No, is that better for you?
So I see it. I see it. Dave's not a happy camper. Oh, there it is. There it's on my
Yes, I
feed.
am. Yes, I am. There's a nice smiley there. What more do you want?
Okay.
Guys, can't please anybody.
All right. So this week,
It will be Status Week.
status.
BBM.
Yeah.
BBM Status Week. You
This
should
week
make a
is-
logo.
Can I put a spark on it?
Yeah. Go for it.
Please do.
You can put 2 sparks on it if you want.
Hey, how about that Telegram getting demanded by Russia to open up their encryption for them? Who knew about the Russia connection with Telegram? I didn't.
I didn't either. That was news to me.
The founder is Russian.
The founder and his brother are Russian.
Yeah.
The some
Yeah,
of the key
I'd heard
developers
that.
are Russian. It is licensed out of the UK and supposedly based out of
Berlin.
Berlin.
Yeah,
But then-
Berlin, Germany.
But then I guess one of the disgruntled employees made it a point to say that actually takes place in St. Petersburg. It's kind of questionable, huh? I mean, you know, disgruntled employees will say anything, but
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. I mean, I refuse to look at an entire country and say that everybody that lives in it has some, you know, agenda or agenda that's negative towards this country or whatever. I don't think that way. There's jerks everywhere, in every country, in every society, in every religion, in everything. And so, you know, is the originator and the proprietor of this software, you know, on the up and up? I don't know. It is until it's proven not to be in my world.
well, I certainly don't think that, even though I think that
I don't know.
I think that's a hot button issue in the U.S. right now because everything's being blamed on the Russians. Everything.
Right.
But
Yeah, and that's a crock of shit.
I agree with you, Dave.
I
We
think,
finally agree on something politically. Like, I think all this stuff with the Kaspersky is kind of out there personally. But the point that makes it difficult for Telegram, if the development is actually taking place in St. Petersburg, is that gives that Russian government a lot more leverage than they would have if it wasn't. Because, I mean, if we look back at WhatsApp in Brazil, how many times did Brazil gel their people. You know, how much easier would it have been for Facebook and WhatsApp if they didn't actually have any staff in Brazil and there is nobody there that they could go pick up and throw in jail? It gives a lot more leverage.
I think Telegram is a scapegoat for the Russian government.
I think they're an example, not a scapegoat.
Yeah. Russia have a law that said that every communication must be encrypted, and the Russian government need to have an access into this communication, messages, whatever. And it's much more easier for them to fall on Telegram and tell them that if they not follow the rules, nobody will see them again.
Yeah, and, they're not the first country to say a thing like that, and they won't be the last.
Right.
And it
BBM's taken its lumps in that regard too.
And it's a sign for Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram and maybe BlackBerry, the enterprise use that the Russian government want to pass.
I think it's fairly obvious that they're using Telegram as an example for the bigger boys, right? Yeah. But I do think there's a reason why they're choosing Telegram. And I don't think it's because the founder has a Russian last name. I would believe that they would purposely be choosing Telegram if, in fact, their development team is in Russia, because that gives them which then they would have against a more powerful Facebook, you know, against even a BBM. You know what I mean? Even someone that's not huge like Facebook, but if you can get your hands on people, that gives you a whole lot of leverage that you wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can read a lot into it, and I just don't know enough to have a solid comment or slant on it. I don't know. Not sure.
They could just go the WeChat route and say, here, have our servers. I kind of touched on it on my post where Snowden was talking, but if you get in there and, like, I'm not a fan of Snowden, not at all. I mean, get that out there. I could care less what he says, period. But, you know, one of those heroic people to one of the guys that's trying to pull people off of BBM and onto Telegram. And I thought it was kind of funny that he was making it a point that Telegram is specifically not, you know, it's incapable of being as secure as, say, a WhatsApp, because their messages are stored in the cloud. Who knew that? I didn't know that.
Well, we found that out when the servers went down.
Yeah.
Where do WhatsApp save their messaging?
Well, that was what the guy of, well, I mean, if we look at, I really don't know about WhatsApp, but I know like BBM doesn't store their messages. They transmit them.
WhatsApp backup your messaging, I think, on OneDrive.
That is exactly what the guy from Telegram responded back to Snowden. He's like, what about all these users that back up their conversations and they back it up this way and that way? And the point that Snowden was making is that's opt-in. Opt-in to save their chat histories that way, whereas Telegram, it's just, that's the way it works. So I'm assuming with WhatsApp, you could decide not to save. Because even with BBM, you have the option of archiving your messages or not archiving them. I don't know where they're archived. But I mean, mine are turned off. I'm not archived. And it's opt-in. You have to get in there and turn it on to archive them.
Yeah, I'm more of a real-time person. I don't care what happened 3 weeks ago. Couldn't care less. I don't archive it either.
All right. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah.
Well, that's your opinion.
Yeah, I can tell from Dave's status message he doesn't think so.
You're a piece off.
We're not gonna tell you what our PBM messages are. No, we're not. Do that.
You'll have to know one of us to know.
That'd be bad.
Which, I mean, in this case, all you're gonna have to know is me to know what Dave's status message is.
Yeah, because there's screenshots everywhere. They're everywhere. You never know what's going on.
All right, let's call it. We don't have Erica here again, and she said she won't be here next week. And you know what, guys? I don't think I'm going to be here next week.
I'm on vacation.
So should we just say right now that we're not going to do this next week?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll just sit here and do it by myself for like an hour and a half of rambling.
Do it, Dave.
Bullshit.
You could pull a BlackBerry Brad. He does it by himself like all the time, and sometimes even podcasts by himself.
Yeah,
so,
but if Dave will talk to himself, I think it's a mental issue.
It's a mental issue whether I'm by myself or with others. Believe me, yeah, it's a mental issue.
Where the heck is Brad? He was here like every week, and now he's gone.
I saw him tweeting that everyone should log into AOL messaging to fare well.
Yeah, right. Let's bump them up by a couple million. And then they'll go, oh, really? Maybe we shouldn't do this. And then after they decide to leave it running, we'll all log out and say piss off. Yeah. That's what we'll do, yeah. Just for being a jerk. Yeah. Change the name from AOL to A-hole.
I think it's time to say goodbye.
It is. Good night, folks.
Good night.
Okay, see you later.
Good night, guys. Thanks.